that affect our country and continent. Only on the Sundown, your eye on South Sudan.
Hello and welcome to the Sundown Show on iRadio with me, Mdarama James. And today we begin the show with the passing of one of the South Sudan most respected political figures, a veteran politician and electrical engineer, Theresia Sirisio Iro, have died at the age of 67 in Cairo, Egypt, following a short illness. Engineer Teresa Sirisio Iro was a dedicated civil society professional and activist with a deep expertise on Sudan and South Sudan. She devoted her effort to empowering that women through capacity building initiative and founded South Sudan Women Peace and Security Monitoring and Advocacy Group. South Sudan, with support from that UN and partners, she championed South Sudan participation in peace and security. A keen advocate of that climate change issues, she integrated climate, peace, and women's rights into her that's work, including her passion for preserving the Sud. As a champion of that Samak and a leader of SANU, a prominent female-headed political party, Engineer Teresa was a respected mentor and influential political figure committed to that social group. To shed more light on this, I'm joined by potential guests in the studio here, and they will be giving us more update on what really it takes from that the arrival of her body to that the burial process. Justice Ajonya and Honorable Alokir, good to have both of you to the studios of that iRadio.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Well, to start with, Justice Ajonya, briefly tell us what's the latest update since the passing of that mother, others call her engineer, a political figure, electrical engineer. What's the latest update after her passing in that Egypt, Cairo?
Thank you very much, iRadio and listeners out there, and also my sisters in the studio here. I would just say, beginning with that Honorable Teresa Sirisio Iro, her death is a painful thing for us. And for us in the Christian fraternity, we could say her soul rests in eternal peace and in glory with God, the creator of heaven and earth, and that she is in the right hand of the Heavenly Father. So in brief, this is what we could say. She died 3 days ago. I think today is the 4th day. In Egypt, we just learned it 3 days. And she broke her lip, the leg, 2 months ago. And then she was treated within Juba, and some iron were put in her so that the fracture can be maintained. And then after 1 month, she went to Egypt. And we have been in correspondence as a group of MAG. What is the MAG, which we call in brief South Sudan Women Peace Security Monitoring and Advocacy Group. We have been in contact, members of MAG, discussing with her status. And just to come and learn that we have lost her. May her soul rest in peace. And we are receiving her today, the body, from 4:50 something in the evening hours. The body will arrive in Juba International Airport, and together with the mourners, we shall receive the body, and we shall have an overnight, and she will be buried tomorrow, to God's grace.
Before I invite Honorable Alokir, where will the overnight take place, and for those who would love also to attend?
It will be in her home in Munuki, Block B. That's where her house is. And tomorrow we shall have also the prayer in St. John, which is the Catholic church near to her home. And that's where the prayer will be held, because there is a bit space in the church. And then she is also a member of the leadership development committee of the Catholic church there in the parish. No, it's not it's a chapel. Yeah, she has been working there also in the church.
نعم. شكرا هونوربل لأمهات ومستمعين القاد بتابي برنامج جبار، وكمان تبا أقدر حاجة لكمان جاستيس أجونيا ونسوتا بأقدر بس كرر لمن بدافي شنا حاصل وأسا كوميتي وشل في ياتو خطوة. مرحبا.
يعني تقدر نتكلم العربي ولا قصدك؟
نعم.
أوكي. مساء الخير. وشكرا للاستضافة لآي راديو. دي فرصة فعلا بالنسبة لنا حزينة جدا. نحن الأعضاء بتاعت مجموعة ماك اللي هي Monitoring and Advocacy Group، المحل اللي نحن تبادلنا فوقه العمل مع أختنا الراحلة القيادية الغائدة المهندسة الناشطة تيريزا ثريثيو، ونحن بقعدنا معاها في السنوات الأخير أفتكر من 18 و19 لحد حسي في 25. وكما قالت الأخت الحصل إنه طبعا حصل لها حادث أثر بالنسبة لها في الرجل الجزء القريب من الحوض، وأخذت علاجات مبدئية هنا في مدينة جوبا، وبعد ذاك واصلت عشان تتم علاجاتها إلى القاهرة في مصر العربية. وهناك يهو تفاجأنا قبل 3 يوم بالذات، احنا سمعنا الخبر في ليلة الأحد اللي هو صبيحة الاثنين بأنها هي خلاص ودعت الروح. ولحد هسه طبعا التقرير الطبي بيكون بيصل الليلة مع الجثمان بتاعها الذي حينزل في أرض جنوب السودان بمطار جوبا الدولي ما بين الساعة 4 مساء الليلة. ففي جزء من الزميلات والأخوات والصديقات هيشاركوا الأسرة في استقبال جثمان الراحلة بمطار جوبا الدولي. ونحن يعني حزينين شديد لأننا فقدنا عنصر مهم في المجتمع دولة جنوب السودان من نواحي كثيرة، وبالذات في المجتمع النسوي كقيادية جريئة جدا، لأنها كانت عندها قيادة حزب كامل في بلد يكون فوقه السيطرة بتاعت الأحزاب المسؤول عنها قيادة رجالية، فهي قدرت تكون جزء لا يتجزأ من هذا. أيضا لها دور فاعل بالنسبة لنا كقيادية بتدعو المرأة في عملية بناء القدرات وتنمية المرأة الجنوبية عشان هي تقدر تقدم خدمات فاعلة للمجتمع الجنوبي. فظهر وتبلور هذا العمل بصورة واسعة مع مجموعة ماك أن احنا كنا شغالين فوقه في بارتنرشيب مع الأمم المتحدة، لأنه يونميس شغالة في تطبيق الأجندة الدولية اللي هي من ضمنها سيداو وبعض الأنشطة، وبالذات برنامج بناء السلام، لأنه هم يونميس are partners of peace. So دي المحل اللي إحنا قدرنا نحتك معاهم ونشتغل في عملية بناء المرأة في السلام والأمن بتاعت الجلوب in general.
نعم.
شكرا.
في نهاية بتاع مقابلة Honorable Alokir كان قبل مرحوم 200 ودي شنو يال بالضبط بقدر ذكر في حياته؟
الحديث عن علاقاتنا معاها، أنا في فترة سلام قبل ما نجي للاتفاقية بتاعة استغلال دولة جنوب السودان، كانت هي زمن مجلس تنسيق الولايات الجنوبية. بتذكر دي الفترة اللي أنا لميت فيها معاها، وهي كانت في تمثيل هذه الاتفاقية مع الحكومة بتاعت السودان كدولة واحد. مسكت فوقها برنامج بتاعت الوزارة بتاعت السياحة والحياة البرية، أعتقد على ما أذكر environment and wildlife. برضو هي في الفترة اللي اشتغلت مع الهيئة القومية للكهرباء، في الفترات دي هي كانت نشطة بتظهر في العمل العام بتاعت المرأة. ده المحل اللي احنا تلاقينا. وبرضو هي
ده كان وين بالضبط؟
ده في السودان.
في السودان
في الخرطوم.
في ولاية
الخرطوم. العاصمة الخرطوم.
نعم.
وبعد ذاك نحن شاركنا مع بعض في عملية السلام مع الأحزاب الجنوبية في مؤتمر الأحزاب الجنوبية اللي كان عملوه في نيروبي قبل التوقيع على الاتفاقية، وبرضو بعد الاتفاقية في عملية تكوين وتحضير الجنوب هنا بعد 2005 في 2007 و8. I think I don't recall properly the time date between 2007 و2008. برضو الأجندة القومية للمرأة للتحضير للانتخابات وللتحضير لبرنامج بتاعت التصويت للريفرندوم بتاع جنوب السودان. فديل الأعمال الكبيرة نحن التقينا فوقه. وأنا كناشطة في المجتمع المدني بعد ما شاركنا في عملية اتفاقيات السلام من 2014 و15 إحنا جينا تلمينا فوقه في عملية تطبيق السلام ومشاركة الأحزاب الأخرى. هي من ناحيتها جات بالأحزاب الجنوبية في دولة جنوب السودان الموقعة على الاتفاقية من 2015. بعد ذاك في 2018 أنا شاركت في الاتفاقية المنشطة، وبعد ده دخلنا في عملية اسمها الكومبين بتاعت السلام اللي قمنا بها بمبادرة مع الإيجاد، وبعد ذاك مشاركة اليونايتد نيشن بتاعت المرأة UN Women في جنوب السودان. فهذا البرنامج بدأ فعليا practically معاها في 2019 يهو بعد ما عملنا اللونشينج في شهر 2 في نفس العام. بدينا الشغل في تأسيس هذه المجموعة بتاعت ماك. بالمناسبة ماك هي مجموعة من الأحزاب والموقعين في الاتفاقية، هم شكلوا الحاجة اللي اسمها Monitoring and Advocacy Group. أنا برضو من الناس المؤسسين. هي مؤسسة Justice، مؤسسة ناسيوة، أفتكر الخامسة أتيمو كانت بتمثل الشباب. فنحن الخمسة مؤسسين لهذا التنظيم بناء على الكوبريشن بتاعت UN Women، يونيميس وإيجاد في اللونشينج بتاع الكامبين اوف ذا بيس كامبين تو ساوث السودان with the agreement of 2018.
شكرا جزيلا Honorable Alokir. Justice Ajonye, what is that one thing, if you can recall, as the legacy of late Teresa Siricio Iro?
Thank you very much. I could say one or two things which I can remember. But first of all, there are two types. One, I can remember history, because she is a daughter of Siricio, late Siricio Iro. And according to the Sudan history, Siricio Iro was one of the first member in the first Supreme Council of 1956 to 1958. So for me in history, that one shows a lot. A daughter of that kind of southerner from South Sudan, a black person, holding that position before some of us are born. That's where the history part is. And not only that, you look at her being the first female engineer in electrical engineer. First, to me, that one means a lot, as being a woman in that field and in wiring. I also know that she can give board advices. If she's in a board, And this is where she has a strategic, normal has summarized words and strategic direction in thinking, and for you to decide on policies, especially as board members. She has been different board. She has been SSB board, even when she died now she has been there. She's there until she died. And then in the board of NCNC, National Communication Authority, that was previously. And in history also she had been in the board of electricity board in the Sudan, by the virtue of being in that profession. Now, let me come to how I heard about Honorable late Teresa Siriso Iro. Personally, we never met for a long time. It is until recent years that we met. I only admired one thing, because I have pertinent interest in environmental law, among other laws. And then the issue of what we call the floods. And I knew that she was one of those who presented in the whole of Sudan. And then when the international environment meetings were held, and the certificate was also given for the Sudan Amatan on how to get rid of the floods, procedures under the African Union to be by the UN also at the same time. So in history, I learned about that, only that the opportunity was never given to her directly. If she was given that particular institution and resources, she could be having a different chapter, which is certificate South Sudan had, which was handed over to Dr. Riek Machar by then. So there I got interested so much in the way she does her things. And then later, we now met face to face when I was the Commissioner of Land for Central Equatoria State. I was the commissioner, the first commissioner for Land Commission for Central Equatoria State. And then we met in the Ministry of Land and Housing for the National. That's when I knew how she thinks. That's where I got interested. Now, let me just look at what exactly could I think about Teresa, which looks so different. So different, for example, transitional justice. She has 2 words on chapter 5. She says, Justice Ajonye, you'll struggle about transitional justice and you could discuss all this in chapter 5. So long as chapter 2, she always reminds me, so long as chapter 2 is not implemented, it's difficult to implement transitional justice in the country, number 1. Number 2, when we're discussing about missing persons, Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs is the particular ministry having a directorate for missing persons. So when the rate of the missing persons was increasing on and we were doing assessment and we were collecting data, she has one word, she says, the missing person will not be found until when the guns which have disappeared must be got to find the missing person. Because the missing persons, guns who made the people missing are not being found. She has her way of speaking. That's her design. And I get amused and I get wisdom out of Honorable Teresa Siriso. Anyway, all in all, with the MAG group, South Sudan Women Peace Security Monitoring and Advocacy Group, as a loose coalition, we elected her to be our chair, though well knowing that she heads a political party, which is SANU. She's the chair for SANU. Actually, there are 3 women who were heading political parties. So, but through this, we had to have an agenda looking at women to be trained. Parliamentarians, we trained 180 something around at the national level, and all the 10 states. We covered all the 10 states. Yes. All the 10 states parliaments, the females, and including other executive women in them. We had to have time to train them on how policies are to be made, how they can move motions, how should they speak, how should they react, how should they look at peace, how should they take it. So in all the 10 states. So for me, that is joy. It is a job where you are not paid, but you do it a sacrifice. The element of sacrifice in this team. You sacrifice. You are not pushed by somebody, but you see the need of the country. People must get together. So I see her having the how do you call, all the zeal when we are doing this discussion trainings at the state. So briefly, that's what I could say.
All right. Honorable, لأننا في حياة مرحوم هي في سياسة، هي زول برو كمان انجينير والهندسة، وكمان في حقوق الإنسان بالذات حقوق المرأة هو اشتغل فيه شديد. فده شنو النساء بتاع جنوب السودان كده حلموا ولا تيك أواي من حياة بتاع مرحوم؟
شكرا جزيلا لإتاحة الفرصة للمرة الثانية. والحديث عن الراحلة العزيزة تريزا طبعا ما حديث حيكون خفيف وما سهل، لأنه كما وصفتها هي عندها حمولة في حاجات كثيرة، حاملة قيمة ووضع السياسي تقيل، ما يعني إنه ده جزء من الأهداف اللي بتدعو لها المرأة إنها يكون عندها تقل سياسي. في نفس الوقت هي كإنسانة فنية في عملها الفني كإنجينير أو مهندسة، ده بوري ذاته قدرات المرأة في الكفاءات الأكثر من دورها الناعم أو الدور الأنثوي. فمن النادر أنت تلقى النساء دائما عندهم شغف في ده. برضو أما عملية حقوق الإنسان يبقى ده إنسان بيكون قدم روحه. لما أنت تكون بتدافع عن حق الناس وحقوق الإنسان وبالذات في مراحل عن المرأة، ده معناته أنت قدمت روحك، because lobbying و advocacy في حاجات بتخص الحقوق والعدالة دايما فيها خطورة وفيها مواجهات كثيرة. فهي قدرت تشجع المرأة إنها تكون قوية، إنه المرأة تكون عارفة حقها، لأنه من الأهداف الرئيسية بتاعتنا في ماك وقت نحن خدتنا الفريم بتاعت الكونسبت بتاعت establishment بتاعت ماك، إنه كيف أنت تحافظ على حقوقك السياسية والاقتصادية والاجتماعية بناء على البروتوكولات العالمية والقانون المحلي في دولة بتاعك. ف35% حذفت وشجعت، عملت موتيفيشن كتير وانسبيريشن للمرأة. فده كان برضو قوي لزول زي تريزا كقائدة، وبتهتم إنه القيادة في السياسة بتحتاج لقواعد، إنه المرأة لازم تكون متمكنة عشان هي تقدر تشارك في العمل السياسي. وبناء على دراساتنا اللي كنا عملناها كماك، عملنا تارجتنج للمرأة اللي عندها رغبة تكون جزء من السياسة، لأنه السياسة that's where you can make the change you want to do، لأنه بيكون عندك ability to become a decision maker. فده خلانا نحن نركز، وتريزا قدرت تستقل قدراتها عشان تحيي المرأة. نحن عندنا بليف، وده اللي خلانا نحن نخلي تريزا تمسك الشغل ده وترأس الماك جروب، لأنه ماك ما منظمة سياسية، هي منظمة طوعية نسائية بتاعت مجتمع مدني، فريق من البعد السياسي. لكن عشان هي فهمة لحق المرأة، وإنه عشان المرأة تستوعب القدرة في اتجاه ده، إحنا ركزنا في إنه هي تقدر تعمل الجانب ده، وبتقدر تساعد المرأة مع الآفاق في القدرات العقلية اللي كانت عندها. ففعلا يعني دي فائدة كبيرة وخسارة كبيرة شديد للمرأة في دولة جنوب السودان.
I would like to invite you in once again, Justice Jonyem. We have seen those who have really contributed to the development of this particular country, one like late Teresa Sirisiero. Some of them who deserve to be sent officially or deserve a state burial are not even honored in a proper way. Now, in this regard, what kind of other special arrangement to that send late Teresa Siricio Iro?
I cannot say much on how they are going to bury her, whether it is going to be a state burial, because the political parties council, I was able to inform the day before yesterday, because she is a member among the political parties. So how they are going to think is different. But for us as MAG, we are thinking it as we as MAG, as women group, who know her usefulness for this nation, who know her contribution and her vision, who carry also together. So we just respectfully, we have members of parliament, national members of parliament, who are trained. I told you the 100 and almost 80 something. Was it 180 something? And the states, every state we had like 60, all the 10 states. So if there are members of parliament who are few, we added with the executive and members of commission in those states and the association, provided they're all women, so that they understand the peace process and training. Now, all these members of parliament at the national level, they are going to join us together, and they will be going to receive the body at the airport with other people. Because it was them who said 2 days ago they want to be part, because they knew what they achieved from MAG as an organization. So we also welcome them, because we thought we were the only one who knew her benefit. And we realized that there are so many people who realized her benefit in their own lives, in their professional careers, in the way how they see the country should look like, especially peace itself. So for us, that's how we are going to honor her, by being together, and we escort the body in dignity to the burial ground, and we assemble together. We have the prayer together with the priest, and that one will escort her spirit. We just add on to that. But if there is another alternative which the government is coming up with, which we do not know, that one I can't talk about it. But that's what best we can say.
All right.
Yeah.
Honorable, في نهاية بتا بيكا تبيلغا في تهديلات ولا توجات البيلغا كمان ناس كتار في نهاية دي تو رسالة البدابتا من كندر ورسول مستمعين ولا كجنوبين في كل محل البارو تريزا في زمن بتاسة رسالة الخاصة لهم.
طبعا احنا بنحاول رغم الحزن والفقد انه انت كمان تعزز الانسان بتاعك وتحاول زي ما بقوله بالانجليزي to celebrate the best out of her life. يعني تحاول تحتفل وترفع من مكانته الدور اللي هو قدمه في المجتمع بتاعه. وفعلا يعني نحن بنقول رغم انه الحزن كتير لكن الإيمان أنت مؤمن بأنه الحياة لابد من بداية ونهاية. فإذا في هذه المرحلة تريزا وصلت لنهاية مطافها وقدرتها وخدماتها في البلد، فده بيدينا في نفس الوقت القدرة إنه نحن دائما نتذكر النساء القياديات، وهي جزء لا يتجزأ من هذه المسيرة. دائما نتذكر الأعمال الخيرية اللي هي قدمتها وعلاقتها كانت كيف مع النساء. يعني لو كان البرنامج ده مش برنامج إذاعي وبس، وده برنامج بتاعت صورة وصوت، كان شفتوا كثير من الصور، كثير من الفيديوهات اللي بتعكس الانتراكشن بتاعتها مع المجتمع النسوي اللي هي كانت فوقه. فده جميل جدا بالنسبة للمجتمع. فبنقول برضو إنه إذا ربنا ادانا الإنسان فده هدية بتاع ربنا في الزمن ده، نحن استفدنا منه وقدرنا نقضي فوقه للأجيال القادمة. وبنقول إذا الرب أعطى فالرب أخذ، وليكن اسم الرب مباركا. ونتمنى إنها تدخل فسيح جناته، وربنا يديها المكانة الصحيحة. الكل زول بيتمنى يجد نفسه على يمين يد الرب إن شاء الله.
No. Honorable talked of celebrating the life of that late Teresa. Now in your own way, because late Teresa left behind family, and how best can also this family be supported, and at the same time how best can her really be celebrated, Justice?
Thank you very much. First of all, I would say everyone will go at different times, and how we go is the way, the method how we go varies from one person to the other. She has gone already. Her soul rests in eternal peace. But I would say this, she has only one daughter left, biological one, but she has so many people she takes care of. And I would say for the daughter, she has not lost a mother. She has lost, actually, she has a mother who is a national figure, not for her only alone. And then for the Mahdi, I would just say that for the Mahdi people, Teresa is not a Mahdi only. She is a national person. She belongs to all the tribes in South Sudan. And then for the others who will ask questions and say, like people ask Jesus Christ and say, I talked about Christ, can something come good out of Nazareth? I just want to assure that even among the Mahdi people, something good was there. And that good thing has gone, has been called already. For the family, I would say entire family whom they have blood relationship, Teresa's death must be death which will unite them stronger and look at peaceful way of coexistence and love each other. And there is two things which I would wish others, including their family members and others, to emulate from Teresa. Two things: resilience. Number two, tolerance. She behaves like things are all okay, but things may not be okay. She goes through difficult times and jumps over them. So tolerance and resilience without making noise. That's something good to echo. Though not beyond, because sometimes we see too much as smug people. Sometimes we come in when things had gone the other way, but there's no way out. That is her. Resilience without causing chaos, tolerance. That's the most important thing. May her soul rest in eternal peace.
Amen. Dear listener, if in case you have just joined us, you're listening to the Sundown Show on Radio with me, Mdarama James. And in this particular show, we are celebrating the life of that veteran politician and electrical engineer, late Teresa Siricio Hiro, who died at the age of 67 in Egypt, Cairo. And according, of course, to the team, her body will be arriving shortly at Juba International Airport. And I'm blessed to be joined in this celebration of her legacy by Honorable Alokir and Justice Ajonye. If at all you have a question on the burial arrangement, or you would like also to pay your condolence, you can do that on 0911 986 after this commercial break.
The Ministry of Health is conducting a commemoration of African Vaccination Week with a new vaccine introduction of pneumonia vaccine, targeting all children aged between 6 to 14 weeks. Take your child to the nearest vaccination center during the African Vaccination Week or Big Catch-up campaign.
Good morning, Mama Alice.
Good morning, Mama Ladu. Where are you coming from this morning?
I had taken Ladu for pneumonia vaccination at the health center to protect my child against pneumonia and meningitis. He was also vaccinated with other routine immunization vaccines at no cost. Is baby Alice already vaccinated?
Yes, she was vaccinated last month. Does she need to be vaccinated again?
Yes. She needs to be vaccinated with at least 3 doses at 6, 10, and 14 weeks to be fully vaccinated, immunized, and protected against pneumonia.
Really? I just heard from afar that there will be a vaccination campaign during the African Vaccination Week, but I was not keen enough to get the details.
You know, Pneumonia vaccine is effective in preventing pneumonia and deaths in infants and young children. This vaccine has just been introduced this year, 2025. A lot of children were not vaccinated. Some even travel without being vaccinated. I wouldn't want to see any child get pneumonia.
I didn't know that pneumonia is very serious, that it can cause meningitis and even death.
Yes, pneumonia is a life-threatening disease caused by bacteria or viruses. The signs are cough, fever, chills, and shortness of breath, which may be accompanied by chest pain when breathing or coughing. Children who survive may experience long-term effects on lung function and increased risk of respiratory conditions like asthma.
Asthma or lung function complication? Oh, that sounds scary. How can I protect my child from this dangerous disease?
The only way for your child to be safe is when your child and all children in your neighborhood are vaccinated with pneumonia vaccine.
I will do that immediately. Where can I take my child for this vaccine? Hope it is not late.
No, you are not late. Pneumonia vaccine and all the other routine vaccines are available at all government health centers in your areas. Tell your neighbors with children between 6 to 14 weeks to be vaccinated.
I'm glad you told me. I will take my child immediately to the nearest health center for pneumonia vaccination.
Bring your child to the nearest health center and protect them from pneumonia and other vaccine-preventable diseases. This message is brought to you by the National Ministry of Health with support from WHO, UNICEF, and South Sudan Women in Medicine.
Naam, fursa leka fi 09 wide wala 22986986 عشان كيف تبقدر تقدم مخافرة بتاعك في وقت بتاعها. ولو كمان في سؤال الخاص تقدر أعرف هل جنازة بتاع تيريزا سيريسيو إيرو ولا في معلومات التانين كمان تماسما ولا تقدر أعرف تبقدر دوما هنينا في زمن بتاعها. This time you can pick that cell phone and pass, of course, your condolence message or any other question that you like to know, and that's 091122986986 as we celebrate veteran politician, women on rights advocate, and then electrical engineer. And I'm blessed to be joined by that Honorable Alokir and Justice Ajonye right here in the studio. Over to you once again, Justice, and to ensure that all legacy of that late Teresa is recognized and remain in place to be celebrated in South Sudan here. What kind of message would you like also to pass out to the women who are currently listening to this program to take the mantle from where late Teresa left? Welcome.
Thank you very much. I would not be so generic, but particularly to women who are touched by the presence and the activities of Teresa Siricio, I would say let them try to recall. Take time and recall what message he had ever passed to you which is positive and which you implemented for your life, for your community, and for the country. The impact of what she had encountered with you, whether in terms of discussions and so on. Number two, especially for the youth, the one she had ever helped, because some normally used to come by surprise and someone would just come and say, you have 2,000. And you say, oh, you paid me in Khartoum and I finished, or university. Somebody just surprises her. And those kind of surprises. So for those whom Teresa touched in the academic world, and whether relatives or non-relatives, and supported them in her own private life, I would say they should also reciprocate the same to others who are needy, children, orphans, etc., and support them. And then they should continue remembering, because when someone helps you, one time also you remember, put her in prayer. Now that she has gone, let her be in the right hand of the Father, Heavenly Father. They just pray for her soul and pray for her family.
All right.
Pray for the daughter, the only child left.
All right.
Thank you.
Hi, radio.
Hello.
Yes, Emmanuel Panadol.
Naam. Salam alaikum. Misal khair kun ke.
Mabatal.
Anena bigul gal khafara. Mot pita umma pitana tereya. Dem mafruk anna jun Sudan. Anna khan bikun bimon. Lano نمرة واحد دي أمة بتاعنا كبير أمون أساسا ماما دي بشيسة إجابة نينا في حارس في جوغابة أمون ران activities بتاعنا بتاعيسة outside inside through politics until we succeed our game, until we became an independent country. Le umatitana. So nina bigul le usra kitatereja. Gale rabbana bodid wa rabbana bisilu. Lakini nina bikore besulube iman. Nina bijetiru haya pitu anvedi roho vide imanat kef. Hal omigiri. Kota lisan al-khaf hal amail to kef. Lakin min amail pitu al-kwez yao khaluna ina bijetiru tereja. Omailu lisan al-khaf hajat fito bira hajat fito khulu fi sika al-sah. La dahasade sabana sidu. Anna bamul sinu ma fi hajatan na bamul. نبي يقول قال سنو لأسرة كلنا قول بإيمان ربنا بودينا على الكثير وشكرا.
شكرا جزيلا إيمانويل بانادول. هنا في جوبا وسط رسالة بتاعك وكلمة سجام وهنربل الوكير كأمة وكمان بيتال ماما تريزا سيبوارا رسالتك شنو برضو لبنات بتاعسي في زمن القابل؟
فعلا أنا قاعد أكرر من قبل إنه رغم إن إحنا حزنانين برضو يكون عندنا تفاؤل. المثل بيقول الحاجة البطال ممكن يطلع فوقه كمان حاجة كويس. فنحن رغم إنه الموت كعب لكن الذكرى الطيبة كويسة. أحسن حاجة أن إحنا نقعد نتذكر العلم ان احنا لقيناه والمشاركة في الاوقات السعيدة ان احنا مرينا فوقه. انا بقول برضو انتوا تشدوا هلكم تكونوا اقوى وتجربوا تخطوا قرآنكم في نفس الأحذية اللي كانت ماما تريزا. Try to put your feet in the same shoes of being a leader and make a space for you so that you also leave part of it to the coming generation the way she's living for us, whatever she had been inspiring people with. And especially البنات كانوا كتار عندنا معاها اهتمت برفع الدور النسوي في برنامج المتكامل كان بتاعنا بتاع ماك وتارجت يوس برضو عندهم بروجرام السيفل سوسايتي بتاع المرأة بصفة خاصة حتى المرأة في السياسة زي ما نحن ذكرناه قبل. أما الجيل الجديد فاهتمت كثير بتواصل الأجيال اللي هو الانترجنريشنال activities. She really did a lot also in this part. فنحن فعلا خسرنا قيادية لكن لازم نستفيد من الدروس اللي هي خلته لنا نواصل به لقدام. ونقول للأخوات زميلاتي في ماك برضو إنه نحن نواصل نعمل نفس العمل بتاعه ويكون عندنا تأثير بنفس الصورة اللي هي ساعدت فوقه في دعم تقدم وتنمية المرأة في دولة جنوب السودان.
Just as you have heard from Emmanuel Panadol, how influential and positive was Teresa. Now, what would be your reaction, particularly to what Emmanuel just said?
Yeah, I wouldn't say something negative from what Emmanuel Panadol has mentioned. But I would say that there's one thing in life, that you cannot be 100% perfect. There are some things, small, you might have wronged others or stepped on others' toes. That's why in funerals, most occasions we say if somebody had stepped on the toes of the deceased or deceased had stepped on the toes, you have to forgive. And this is the last legacy you can do if you had stepped at all on your toes. As Mag, that's what we would request, so that we want her soul to rest in eternal peace. Another important thing I would just say is this, very important, because Teresa, before she died, she was so attracted to this intergeneration gap, which has gone so wide. We would discuss on issues, how do we help the country to make sure the youth come closer to the elders and elders get closer to the youth, because the gap is too big, such that they miss in the middle the youth. And then as elders, many of them are dying, just like we have lost Teresa, they're also, the youth are losing wisdom. They do not know what to do because they did not even hear. They were not closer. That gap, we were on strategy of reducing it. Every tribe, we didn't care which tribe you came from, because we need to be together. And because the generation for them to take over, they need to get from the elders, and we need to be together. So that has been very articulate thing by her. She made sure all our trainings, we had backup among the trainers who are young people. So as the informal training is done unto them, they already have the formal. You have degrees, you have all these kind of things, but the degree is relevant to the real life is what we were struggling as Mark to bring them home. And it was one of her focus. So I wouldn't say much from what Emmanuel had said. She has done great, and there's no perfect person in the world, including us, including late Teresa. She could have wronged someone, or somebody could have wronged her. On behalf of her, we as Mag were saying, we're asking for forgiveness, if at all she wronged somebody by lips.
Thank you.
Speaking.
Hi, radio. Hi, radio.
Hello.
Yes.
Oh.
Mono Daramin when? Akhiran bagi bes arba dagai kashan kefa nabiyat labara min dakili studio honorable alokir tabiel ga result akshunu bedable sabab taban Malaysia laramu Teresa umura 67 dema umura al sahel وكان يال بيقدر يستفيد في معلومة ويال كمان بيقدر يستفيد زيادة منه بدب رسالتك شنو ليال بتاع سنة ده طبعا لو خلاص مو عنده فرصة من أبواد تانين بيمشي من بيت بيرجع بليل وشنو خلاص cases بتاع جرائم قاعد بيزيدوا كمان ولو مون كمان جاني قريب مع أمهات قريب مع أبوات مون بكون بعلم حاجات البرضو جميل وكمان بيشيلوا بلد قدام رسالتك بدب شنو؟
احنا بنقول بالعربي دائما إنه ما في إنسان بدون ماضي، ما في مستقبل بدون ماضي. You cannot talk about future if you don't have the past to carry along with you. عشان منه أنت بتشيل الدروس. أي حاجة لما يبدو بيسألوا الباك جراوند، الهيستوري، حاجة ده بدا كيف. That's how people live life. حتى جانا when even now we are used if we are talking about youth at this age, how did you start? Ita badet kef, rabo kef. Hajada yao bishebita winta bukun insan mufit fun mujtama. Let me just grab this with me. Recently, there are some incidents which were viral in Junuba, Sudan, in which we felt, the culture, the tradition, a lot of things are vanishing away from us. We are adopting cultures and we are accommodating hajat ما في أساس تنا
حاجات زي شنو
يعني زي الجروبس شباب behaviors الكثيرة الحاصل برا هناك. إذا أنت ما عندك قلنا قبل pass اللي أنت بمشي فوقه, because whatever we adopt recently or some foreign type of culture or behaviors which are not ours, then those, they know the history and how did they study. For example, if you talk about niggas, you go and cite the word niggas, you know where it is coming from. The juzu min history bitak, juzu min legacy bitak, wala you adopt it. Why? There are things which are good to be adopted, but there are things which you have to pass through them. You don't need to carry them with you. But there are things you need to carry with you. في حاجات مهم. عشان كده نحن لما نتكلم عن الليجاسي بتاع الزول ونتكلم عن ال coming generation, إنه أنت تشيل حاجة من تاريخ بتاع leaders بتاعك أنت بمشي بيه قدام. Like now, nation, we used to talk sometime, I'm telling Justice Junior, you know, how did we reach here to become a South Sudan independent country? We talk proudly of we. This thing came out from one person as an idea to create something called organization, where you go back to the SPLM, for example, to make a revolution, to liberate the country. What's wrong with all of us? Anybody can have such an opportunity of doing something to change the world. We have changed the world. We brought a nation. We brought a country. We are here to be. Who did that? It's the same we. So the generation goes like that. Every people should learn from the other people.
All right.
That's what will give you the future we are talking about.
All right. Finally, to you, Justice, in 1 minute as we are coming to the end of our conversation.
Just I would say this, we have lost a great lady, we have lost a great mother, we have lost a great politician who also has a civil society mind as an activist. Towards the end, this is what she was doing. And then patriotic lady was a vision. And may her soul rest in eternal peace. For those who all attached to her, may they continue to pray that she lives in glory. God bless you and bless their family.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dear listener, with this we have come to the end of our reflection on the life of an engineer, politician and advocate, Teresa Siricio Iro. Have been your host, Mdarama James.